Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Connect Conversations. Hope you all are doing well. Today, we have with us someone who, in her own words, is a mountain lover with a special place in her heart for rural Himalayan communities. Equipped with masters in microbiology, she worked with Facebook for 3 years before the entrepreneurial bug finally bit her and she launched her own sustainable travel company. A TEDx speaker, All India Rank 1 holder in UPSC CDS, she was also chosen for 10,000 Women Goldman Sachs program by NSRCEL at IIM Bangalore. A very warm welcome to Ms. Vandana Vijay, founder and CEO of Offbeat Tracks. Hello, ma'am. Welcome back. Welcome to Connect Conversations, and thank you for allowing us to share your journey here.
Hi, Andra. Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to be here, and I'm very excited about sharing my story so far with you and the larger audience.
Likewise, ma'am. So, ma'am, like we just mentioned in your introduction, you have had a very interesting professional journey. I mean, a science background, then you also are a holder of All India UPSC CDS rank, like first rank holder for the year 2009, if I'm not wrong.
That's right.
Then you worked with Facebook for 3 years, and then you also did a course from IIM Bangalore, and now you are a founder for a travel company promoting sustainable tourism. So, if you can just describe to our viewers a little bit about your exciting journey and what finally inspired you to, start Offbeat Tracks. And also, do you see some kind of correlation between your academics and your current business, which I assume it's more of a passion? Like, if you can just briefly tell our audience about it.
Thank you so much for the question. So I'll first answer your first half about my journey so far. So I've grown up in a defense family. My father and grandfather both were officers in the army, and because of that, I had the privilege of growing up all over the country. We kept moving, couple of years everywhere, and I somehow innately developed a huge love for the mountains. And I just, in fact, my favorite pastime would be to just stare at maps, mountains, and things like that. Wanted to join. So when I did my master's in microbiology and wanted to join the army like the men in my family, took that, cleared the exam, but then I decided to discontinue that for certain reasons. Then Facebook happened, and I was also preparing for the civil services in between. Took a couple of attempts, but I don't think they were very thoroughly well thought out attempts, and I don't think I was destined to be there. But I think the most important turning point for me, which kind of led to me, founding Offbeat Tracks, was in 2014. I took 2 years off from work, 2 weeks off from work, and decided to go to Ladakh and volunteer with a non-profit. Now, this non-profit is called as LEGO, Ladakh Environment and Health Organization. This was May 2014. Ladakh was still cold, it snows in May in Ladakh.
Right.
And I spent 2 weeks there trekking, hiking, meeting remote communities, remote villages living across Ladakh. And what was striking about that year was that was the year of the Modi wave. That was when the Bharatiya Janata Party was getting elected for the Lok Sabha for the first time. Across the country, it was a Modi wave, as they said. What was interesting in Ladakh was that it was a late snow year, like how it is this year also. So the roads and passes had not opened. Now, road access to Ladakh is via two passes. One is the Rohtang Pass, which is on the Manali side, and one is the Zojila Pass from the Kashmir side. These road passes are closed for almost 6 to 7 months a year. So for the remainder of 5 months, the only role what the roads play is to stock up in Ladakh for the winter. So now, when I was in Ladakh in May, it was a late snow year, the passes had not opened. It was very fascinating to see when I flew into Leh airport, the conveyor belt at the airport had stacks of potatoes and tomatoes coming in from the mainland.
Right.
There's no food, there's no fresh food there. Everywhere where people are talking about Modi, the only conversation which was happening there was, has the road opened? When are we going to get our food supply? And it was that moment, that it was like a turning moment for me when I came to realize that we're such a fascinatingly diverse country. We're probably one of the most diverse nations in the world, and I keep stressing this in all my talks when I say the Indic civilization is probably the only pre-existing Bronze Age civilization to exist in continuity. हिंदी में कहते हैं यूनान मिश्र रोमा सब मिट गए जहां से कुछ बात है कि हस्ती मिटती नहीं हमारी. So that is something which fascinates me about India, the diversity that we have in this country. And when I went to Ladakh and I saw how life is so different, it struck me saying when we talk about travel in India, for us as Indians as well as international travelers also, They look at India as Delhi, Agra, Jaipur. Central India may be like Goa, or they do the national parks, or they do Kerala. But we know how diverse this country is.
Right.
A couple of 100 kilometers in either direction, you are exposed to a new culture, a new cuisine, a new dialect, a new landscape. We're blessed with any form of landscape we want. So I think that's when the seed of inception for Offbeat Tracks is kind of sown. And I said, I need to create this platform by which I can showcase the beauty of the cultural diversity of India in its true raw form to the world.
Right.
To
Wonderful,
answer
ma'am.
your second question about how my experience, I think studies never, I mean, preparing for UPSC was hard. There was a lot of studies and a lot of hard work. And I think a couple of things which I learned during that UPSC preparation, which have helped me during my entrepreneurial journey. One is, of course, the amount of vast knowledge you learn, right? You're learning
Right.
about different aspects, maybe the government, the functioning of the bodies, the constitution. You relearn geography altogether again. You do bit about Indian history again, though history is very debatable these days, looking at the modern political environment, but the basics. But I think core values which I really picked up, I think the grit, the tenacity, the never give up attitude that, success rate might be very low. I think it's very important to fail. You should not be afraid to fail and take failure as it comes. Pick up lessons from every failure and try harder. I think these lessons which I learned during my journey so far has helped me steadfast. Today, in the age of unicorns, I can very happily and proudly say I'm a cockroach. Um, we survived the pandemic as a company and we've come back even stronger and more resilient.
Right, right. Wonderfully spoken, ma'am. More power to you and Offbeat Tracks. So coming to ma'am, like Offbeat Tracks, talking about Offbeat Tracks, like what is the kind of business model that you follow? Like how do you curate your travel locations? What are the mandates that you have made for yourself that this would qualify as a sustainable, tourism or a holiday destination, whatever it is? And if a party is interested, like a customer who is interested to book through you, how can they book a holiday on your platform? Like if you can just tell our viewers a bit about
So I think more than sustainable tourism, I think what we focus more absolutely on is community development through tourism. Now, what that means is that we are using travel and tourism as a means by which we are able to generate gainful employment or give back to communities wherein we work. Now, what that means is, as a company, we've identified three UN SDGs. Those are the Sustainable Developmental Goals, namely 7, 8, and 12. So now, every time you travel with Offbeat Tracks, there is a one, or if not all, one of these UN Sustainable Development Goals will be met through your travel. How does that work? I'll give you an example. We work with rural communities wherein we help people set up remote mountain homestays.
Mm-hmm.
So when you try, and it's not only setting up the homestay, right? Then what we do is we facilitate a go-to-market access system also for these homestay hosts. So when they're onboarded with us, they're working with us, we'll encourage our guests to kind of stay at those homestays. If not homestays, the heritage properties or the hotels that we work with are also locally sourced, and there's a huge community angle with it. For example, there is a beautiful heritage property in Ladakh called as Nemo House. Now, what Nemo House was an old heritage property, old property of one of the royalty of Ladakh. Somebody's taken it over and they've employed and engaged people from the local village community to help in the upkeep and the running of the property. So when you are staying there, you know that the money and the proceeds are going in for community development there. Then we encourage our guests to take experiences that have been locally curated and crafted. It could be something like a pottery experience at a particular village, doing a heritage walk at a village. It could be going to the home of a local family and sitting down and having a traditional meal with them. So it could be in Manali, we do this at a village where she takes you and she make hot siddu for you and sit on the bukhari in the winter. In Ladakh, we do a traditional Ladakhi meal. We also moved our gambit more towards urban centers where, food is such an important component of the region's culture and defining identity. So we figured in Hyderabad, we said, let's find out talented home chefs who specialize in cuisine native to their region. And we started this concept called as in-house dining experiences, where you go to the homes of these people and have a sit-down meal with them. So we did a Bhori Thal with a Bhori Muslim family, a Kashmiri Pandit meal with a Kashmiri Pandit family. And that's when I learned that Kashmiri Pandit food is very different from Kashmiri Muslim Bazwan. They don't use garlic in their food.
Right.
We did a Burmese meal with the Burmese family. We did a Hyderabadi meal with a traditional Hyderabadi family, and it was food beyond biryani. Because people only think Hyderabadi food is biryani, but it's so much more than just biryani.
Right.
And the impact on that. Now, predominantly, and this is just statistically proven also, that the travel and tourism industry is a very unorganized sector and employs a lot of women at the grassroots level. Now,
Right.
increasingly for us, and that kind of correlates, we have a lot of women who are working as service providers for us. And we very proudly say that we have become enablers and facilitators for these women to take on the journey of entrepreneurship and start
Hmm.
their own. For example, the Bhori Thal host in Hyderabad got featured, and then she went on to become the head chef for a 3 month Bhori food fest at the Park chain of hotels last year.
Ah,
One of our homestay hosts in Ladakh, Rigzin, she launched a homestay about 1.5 years ago.
okay.
Nebo, the NGO that I collaborate with, trained her with that and guests. And we were doing a little interview on her because we wanted to do impact assessment. And she very proudly was telling us that, I've been running my homestay for about 6 months in totality because of the seasonality of tourism in Ladakh, and she's made a lakh for herself.
Wonderful.
So, what we tell our guests is every time you book a travel package with us, about 15 to 25% of the revenue which you pay for your tour is directly going to go to impact and benefit the community that you're going to be visiting. So, say
Hmm.
if you go to Ladakh, you will be meeting Rigzin, staying at Rigzin's home. Rigzin's going to make money. Rigzin will
Right.
take you for a walk around the village through a guide. That guide will make money. Then she take you for a pottery session. That has been created by a women's self-help group. So that self-help group makes money. So there's
Hmm.
a lot of disbursement of money into the local communities when you travel on a tour with us.
Okay. Wonderful.
And how you book and how you discover us is through regular marketing channels. We are on social media. We've got a website. I like to talk and engage with platforms like yours, wherein more people can discover us and come and reach out to us.
Right.
And it's personalized, it's highly curated to our packages, wherein we understand what your requirements are and we tailor make it for you. And then we overlay the layer of experiences by which you can give back to the community.
Amazing, ma'am. Great, great work. So, ma'am, coming like just a point that you mentioned right now that you try to develop the communities at grassroots level. So, if I have to talk about offbeat tracks, like you gave us like examples of various avenues through which you give provide them with the development. So, do you also take some kind of help or assistance from an NGO, from probably educational institutes or government bodies to achieve the same? Like, other than the entrepreneurial development of them, do you also give them assistance in terms of soft skill training or any other kind of training, like at the
Sure.
grassroots?
So I think in Ladakh, the NGO model is what Levo has been our partner, and we've kind of piggybacked off them, I'd say, wherever they've set up homestays. And what they do is they've got grants wherein they give soft loans to the
Okay.
relevant recipients. And so they do the soft skill training and all of that. And then what I go in with is expertise in terms of what a go to market strategy would be for them. Because as an
Right.
NGO, there's a disconnect with they probably know how to set the homestay up, but they don't know what the market wants, so they don't know how to
Correct.
reach the market. That's where we come in with the expertise saying that let's onboard this village, let's onboard these experiences, let's kind of curate these things together and bring things together.
Mm.
That's what's worked in Ladakh. What's worked in Manali has been very different and interesting is Manali, the market, I think in terms of tourism is a lot more developed and
Right.
also it's perennial. Well, it's developed to an extent which is not very nice now because it's mass tourism now.
Yeah.
So I think that's had me personally go and scout in villages and use like a network and find out people saying that, okay, we've got this project. Who would you be interested in coming on board? Some of them have already curated their itineraries and unique offerings, and we just kind of package that for them and then put that on our platform. Or some of them, like there's Umaji, whom I met in 2020 December when I'd gone to Manali, and she's from this beautiful little village called as Karjan, and she has an old Himachali home built in the style, native architecture style called as Katkuni.
Okay.
And it was a beautiful home, and we were sitting with her, and she's very warm, very genial, and she's got a lovely, bright, beaming smile on her face. And I was like, would she be interested in hosting a traditional Himachali meal at her home for our guests? And she was very enterprising, and she, grabbed the offer right away. And we told her, you serve us the way you would serve your guests. I'm not going to tell you fork, spoons, cutlery, nothing.
Mm.
It has to be a traditional meal, and it's what has to come from your heart. So you're going to serve us. And then every time we went and ate them, we said, okay, this can be slightly tweaked, this can be slightly modified. And she was so creative herself. She came up with ideas. Like the second time we went, she's like, you know what? I have this traditional dress called the Himachali Pattu. Let me drape it for you. And that becomes a new experience where you go and try the thing and all of that. So I think what I tell all my vendors or my stakeholders is, you've got the diamond, I'm just polishing it for you.
Wonderful, wonderful, ma'am. And also, ma'am, like I was wondering about this fact, like it just came across my mind that do you also offer some kind of like educational certificate courses also for the soft skill training?
We haven't as yet. Okay. It's something on our roadmap wherein we want to
plan
with educational institutions, certification program, and say sustainability or things. But I must tell you about a very interesting venture, interesting, expression of project that I led back in 2017. I had 14 people come down from California. Okay. Now, in California, there is a project called as LFL, Lighting for Literacy, wherein middle and high school children make solar lights. And they look for suitable volunteer groups who can go and install these lights anywhere in the world. Okay. So they've done these installations in South America, in remote African regions of Malawi and all of that. In 2016, I happened to go to the US and I pitched Ladakh as a destination to one of the groups and said, why don't you guys come and we do this? And they were sold. So 2017, we had 14 people from the US come down and we trekked to a remote village in Ladakh called as Takmajik. And so Ladakh villages are very interesting in structure. The main village is on the banks of the primary river, which is just there. And then you've got these peripheral little hamlets called the dokes. Okay. Dokes are essentially summer houses which people go and live in because they've got their farming, agricultural land. Right. So we decided that we're going to go and trek to one of these dokes, which were 10 homes on 2 ridges, and electrify these homes because they were completely off the grid. Right. So we were a group, 14 participants with 100 kgs of equipment, trekking about 4 hours into the mountains, and then we brought the magic of light to these 4 homes. Wow. 10 homes, sorry. Wow. So that is a great, impactful expedition. Also, we encourage the concept of homestay-based stay for the guests because we were all staying in homestays of the local village. Of course. And it was very interesting, Antara, because the guests did not know any other language other than English. The host did not know any other language than Ladakhi or Hindi. You know who bridged the gap? The children of each home. The children of each home were going to English medium school that they were trying to communicate. And it was fascinating. And, I'd go to one home and my guests would be sitting and making momos with the host. And after those 5 days, when we had to leave the village, I kid you not, the village and all of us had tears in our eyes. It was just, and that's why I'm such a fan of community-based travel because it's so personal and you get this strong connect. These are these intangible bonds that you create with people from around, which you will not get in a normal hotel.
True. That's absolutely true. Wonderful, ma'am. So, ma'am, talking about Offbeat Tracks and the concept it has, like, I'm sure you must get like varied types of travelers. And I don't think everybody seems to take the concept of sustainable travel seriously. I'm sure you must encounter such customers on day-to-day basis. So, like, what kind of challenges do you face, as a travel business owner just in order to align the customers with the ideas and ethos of Offbeat Tracks?
Very, very good question.
And how, like, just one more point, like, how responsible do you feel, like, you just to change their mindset and, manage these challenges and also, while providing the authentic travel experience to them? So how do you manage that?
So it's been an ongoing journey, and I also think Offbeat Tracks is a concept. The concept of sustainable or community travel is not it's a nuanced concept, is how I'll put it, right? You need to be a little more evolved in your travel journey to appreciate what this kind of travel is. So Offbeat Tracks, in its truest sense, caters to the evolved traveler. It caters to somebody who is probably well-read, well-traveled already, and now they understand this form of travel. Right. They're looking to take stuff off their bucket list. They're not looking to put up pictures for their Instagram, but they're looking to get more and gain more from the community through travel. However, that being said, it's not that if people reach out to us and are not at that level, we're going to deny them. What we, I think, one of the core values values for us in Offbeat Tracks company is knowledge. So I think we are here to create that knowledge and disseminate that knowledge and information to people, telling them that you can do your conventional travel. Like, what do you associate conventional travel? Being a new place, having fun, having a great time, taking lots of pictures. We'll give you all of that. But why don't you try out our experiences?
Right.
So it could be a conventional package to Ladakh, but I'm like, give me one day to the package of yours, wherein you come and spend a day at a village with me. Come and spend a day at a village with my community. Or instead of sitting in your taxi and taking a tour everywhere, why don't you do a heritage walk one day? Or why don't you do an e-bicycling tour one day? Why don't you do a bicycling tour one day? So these are small ways via which you can evolve the traveler and kind of get them more towards the idea of sustainable travel and community-based travel. There's a common misnomer in the market that if you want to perform this kind of travel, it has to be only in the luxury space. And I am here to kind of dispel that myth and bust that myth, saying that your travel can be impactful at every small granular level. It could be something as small as carrying your own straw. It could be as small as buying and eating as local as possible, right? If you are in a land, eat the food which is native to the land. Don't go for your packaged whatever chips which are coming from across some other region. Maybe try a local snack, eat local, shop local. Instead of picking up a standard fridge magnet as a souvenir, pick up something which is local, which is curated by an artisan from there. Meet that artisan, understand the story behind that souvenir. These are small habitual changes which can come about in your travel journey as a traveler, which will slowly get you onto this path of being, a traveler who wants to understand and learn more. If you look at it some time ago, the most, the famous philosophers or the leaders of the world were always great travelers. Because travel has always been a great teacher, a great learner, a great enabler. And I think if these are new travelers, that once again, these aspects of travel kind of just fit in.
Right. And ma'am, usually, I just want to understand. So the customers usually enthusiastic, like when you suggest them something different from the usual itinerary. So what is the kind of
interesting means here? Statistically also, I'd say about 80% of travel decisions are made by women. So women are a big group, right? They're the ones who are initiating it. They want to travel. They want to try new things. And just the women travel segment itself is growing. You have so women travelers. You have women traveling in groups and all of that. I'll give you another example of something which is gaining a lot of popularity with us now. It's called as the Trans-Bhutan Trail.
Okay.
Now, what the Trans-Bhutan Trail is. Back in the day, when Bhutan, before roads came into Bhutan, this was a trekking trail which extended from western to eastern Bhutan, connecting all the villages and the palaces and the fortresses. The fortresses in Bhutan are called as the zongs.
Zongs,
The Trans-Bhutan Trail is over 600 years old.
Okay.
This fell into disuse and disarray. Roads came into Bhutan. Finally, this year, after about maybe a decade of restorative work by the Bhutanese government and the Canadian Foundation, the Trans-Bhutan Trail was finally opened up for public use after 60 years.
Wow.
So very interestingly, we received an inquiry from a lady from Bangalore saying, I know you guys do tours to Bhutan. I've read about the Trans-Bhutan Trail. Can you facilitate that for me? So we did that. Then somebody else did it. And this lady very particularly wanted to stay in homestays run by traditional Bhutanese families off the grid on the course of a Trans-Bhutan Trail. So they came, they stayed, they enjoyed the local food and the cuisine and all of that. So yes, there is, to answer your question, there is a growing number of people who are interested in this concept of offbeat experiential travel. And I very firmly believe that this number is going to keep growing. And I think it's an endeavor for us to make this more affordable and accessible to a larger audience.
Right. Wonderful, ma'am. So, ma'am, just talking about Offbeat Tracks and you personally. So, what are you most excited about and are looking forward to for yourself as well as Offbeat Tracks in the next 2 years? So, talking about
just growth for the company. The company is growing at a great pace. I think we're at a great level where we're an 8-member strong team. Very interestingly, we are almost an all-women team. 80% of us are women on the team. And everybody's so passionate about what they do. They believe in the concept of this kind of travel. They believe in the impact. They believe in giving back to the community. So I think the next 2 years with Offbeat Tracks, I'm just looking at insane growth and us reaching out to different mediums and platforms. We want to speak to corporates. We'd like corporates who believe in this concept of sustainable travel and tell them that, why don't you move away from the traditional idea of an offsite where you go to a resort with a run. You can still have your fun, but we can do a little bit of giving back to the community also when you travel with us. We definitely want to reach out to more international clients who are coming and traveling to India. Another thing which was very interesting, which I realized after what the Prime Minister talks about, there's a very conscious endeavor for us to build the image of India internationally. I think that's just each one of us as citizens should take up. We've got a huge diaspora across the world. We want to start this project via which we reach out to the diaspora from around the world and why don't you bring a guest from the country you are in and show India through your eyes as to what the real essence of India is. And Offbeat Tracks will facilitate that for you.
It's an amazing concept, ma'am. I think that's a great idea. Amazing. And I'm also just like, are you only kind of focusing on the Himalayas, or you are also planning to cater to like
pan-India? We're a pan-India brand now.
Okay.
That's what I started with because of my deep into the region, but we're a pan-India brand now. And we are also having inroads abroad. So internationally, Nepal, Bhutan, Sri Lanka, all of Southeast Asia and Turkey. And hopefully in the next 1 year, we'll also be launching with Central Asia.
Oh, wow. Wonderful. Okay. All the best, ma'am, for all your future endeavors. And just before we leave you, ma'am, any word of advice or some mantra that you learned along your journey that you would like to share with the young Indian entrepreneurs, and especially women entrepreneurs, on how to be successful and be happy as well while trying to be successful? I know it's a very delicate balance, but if you have any sort of advice or mantra.
You find your passion. And I've been very lucky that I've been able to make my passion my profession. But entrepreneurship is a fad these days, right? It's fashionable to say that you're an entrepreneur. It's fashionable to say that you've got your own company. But if you're becoming an entrepreneur for that, those are the two most wrong reasons for which you can pick entrepreneurship as a journey. Entrepreneurship is hard. Entrepreneurship is lonely. You need to be comfortable with taking risks. You need to be comfortable with a great degree of uncertainty that it throws upon you. So until and unless you have deep-rooted conviction and you very firmly believe in what you are doing and you feel like you can make a difference or you can bring about a radical change to the community or whoever you want to impact, it's only then when you should embark on being an entrepreneur. And it's absolutely fine if you don't want to be an entrepreneur. If everyone's an entrepreneur, who's going to help you build a team? So I think entrepreneurship is a great test of your grit and your tenacity. It's a great test to see how resilient you are, no matter what comes up. How often are you okay with 9 out of the 10 times you're going to listen to rejection and a no, but you keep waiting and hoping for that one yes. How okay would you be with that? It's a great test of character and strength. And I very strongly believe it's very easy to get dissuaded, demoralized, demotivated during this journey. But you should count every small victory. You should count every small win. Every day when you wake up and you realize that you made 1% progress from the day before, the power of compounding holds paramount. And suddenly, maybe a couple of years down the line, you look at the huge difference that you've made. So keep at it. Celebrate every victory, celebrate every joy, learn from every failure, and keep chipping away.
Right. Very well spoken, ma'am. I think those were definitely words of wisdom. I'm sure all our viewers would also agree, and I think they must have definitely learned something from your journey and experiences. I did. So thank you so much, ma'am, for sitting down and sharing an inspiring story with us. It was an absolute delight and honor to have you here.
Thank you so much. The pleasure was all mine.
Thank you, ma'am. And to all our viewers, if you would like to know more about Offbeat Tracks and its work, you can connect via Miss Vijay's or social media links, as well as company social media link, which we have shared in the description box below. If you have any sort of feedback for us to improve on, or you would like to show some appreciation, please share your comments in the comment section below, and do follow us on our other social media channels, who again have been mentioned in the description box. Don't forget to hit the like button on this video and subscribe to our channel for more such interesting conversations. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you in our next episode.